Hi there, welcome to Cooking with Hugo. My name is actually Julian and it's called Cooking with Hugo because I'm cooking and Hugo is down there. You might see him later on in the video. He's a little French bulldog and he's my lovely little pet. Hugo's had his food already because if he hadn't, you wouldn't have heard anything I had to say on video because he's a bit of a sloppy chops. The other day I was in Asda. And I noticed they had some veg with the yellow labels on, you know. Well, I certainly do. I like that thing with the yellow labels. It's quite exciting. So I bought like casserole packs and bits and pieces like that. I'll put a picture up of what's in this thing a bit later on. But yeah, it's all like chopped up veg. And I also chopped up a little bit more here. Sweet potato, and I have washed my hands by the way, and orange and yellow peppers. Hugo ate the red pepper yesterday and he's also had some of that in his food today because it's good, full of antioxidants apparently for dogs. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop that in there and give it a bit of a whiz around. Yeah. And add water. We're going to be making a vegetable curry, and it's Indian. It's an Indian recipe that I've nicked, and I'm not particularly going with all of the proper amounts of ingredients. So what I've decided to call this is Indian veg bunged it in. Now, while I was also in Asda earlier on, I thought I'd better have a drink, better have a lager to go with this, you know, keep my nerves chilled, doing this for YouTube. Ooh, you know, early days for me. And I saw these for inspiration, these Cruz Campo lagers, and I think that must be Gino's family, Gino's son or something like that. So I thought that would give me a bit of inspiration because that guy can do a bit of cooking, can't he? Right, anyway, so let's crack on with this. We've got to get the lid on this. Yeah, I don't think I'm over the level there. You don't be too high. I'm going to be cheating slightly here, and we're going to pressure cook that for 5 minutes. This is brilliant, by the way. Let's pressure cook 5 minutes, start. Now then, while that is happening, we're going to start cooking the base. Now the base is hand-picked from out of my own garden. These they smell good. These bay leaves. And there's, what else have we got in there? Crushed cardamom seeds, or chopped up as I managed to do them. Cinnamon and a bit of oil. We're going to put a bit of oil in, and cumin. So we're going to put that in some oil we're going to heat up in here. You can see I've done this a million times, can't you? Now we're going to put a bit of oil in there. Fire this up. There we are. That won't take too long to do. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put these base ingredients in there and let them sort of sizzle a bit. Which doesn't take long on these induction cookers. I don't know how many of you use these, but I don't think I'd go back to anything else these days. I think it's just really, oh, that's a bit wild. Maybe I need to turn that down a little bit. Yeah, let's take that down to 500 before I injure myself. And talking of injuring myself, I did that the other day. And I was very careful today doing it. Oh, there must be some water in this pan. Tell you what, put the lid on it a second. Scotch bonnets, chilies, pretty warm. You know, a bit warmer than your jalapenos anyway. And I cut them up the other day. I'm chopping away. A bit like burning under my nails. Give it a bit of this. All of a sudden, my face was on fire. I had to wash my face, cover it in Savlon. So be careful when you're doing this sort of thing. Yeah, pretty lethal. Oh, that's starting to colour up a little bit in there. Yeah, that's going to be quite nice. So, we don't want to overdo things in here, so I'm going to put that in there now. That's a bit of onion and the chilli. There we are. This is actually going to be a bit quicker than I thought. I've got another onion here chopped up to go in there. There we are, get it all in, nothing left. Not these days, everything's so expensive, unless you get the yellow labels. Right, there we are. The chilies in the onions, and we've got to add some garlic and some ginger, but not quite yet. Let's just let that do a little bit more. So we've got a few more ingredients to do. We're going to be using tomatoes, and I'm going to be using passata with garlic, so we won't be putting too much garlic in. Coconut milk's got to go in there. And then we've got to put all of these sort of flamboyant ingredients in. That gives it all those authentic Indian flavours. And when I've done all this, I'm going to drain what's in there. So this is why I'm cheating a little bit. Normally you would cook those veg in with this in the big pan, but we'll drain it all and then we'll add all that to that. There we are. Actually, that's smelling pretty good already. Right, a bit more inspiration. I was going to crack a joke about Holly and Philip, but we won't go down that. Right, I'm going to turn that down even more now because this is incredibly fast. So what do we need to do now? We need to put in some, what's this? Some decaf coffee. No, I'm kidding. It's actually hot chili powder. Yeah, so we're going to pop that in there. And it says, how much does it say? Oh. Yeah. Okay, that should about do it. Let's not go over the top, you know. I want to be able to eat it. We've already got chili in there. Okay, what else have we got to have? Garam masala, this stuff. Yeah. Right, a teaspoon of that. This is why I call it bunged in, look. That goes in there. Let's put that over there. What else? Turmeric. Yeah, all curries seem to have turmeric in them, don't they? Make sure it's not. How much of this do we need? Half a teaspoon. We best go a little bit careful on this one, isn't we? Yeah, that'll do. Half a teaspoon. Fennel. Where are these bad boys? Bit of fennel. And how much of that have we got to have? 1 teaspoon. There we are, fennel. Gotta give that a stir, haven't we? Now we can start to smell it a bit curry-ish. 1 teaspoon of cumin. Oh. No, cumin's here somewhere. That's got to be the last one you pick up, isn't it? Oh, blimey. This is a bit like Macbeth. Is it not Macbeth? What's that? What's that? Shakespeare play we got the witches. And we're mixing it all in. Bubble, tongue and trouble and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, right. I digress. Cumin. 1 teaspoon. Okay. Right. There we are. There we are. Right, we're going to give this a bit of a whiz. Turn it up a little bit. Get the rawness of the flavours. And then we're going to have this ginger. Which one? That's got a bit more in it. How much ginger? Oh, I remember, yeah. Right, bit of that. And, no, that's more ginger. We don't want more of that. Let's mess it up now, too. Right. Yeah, that's better. The garlic. The salt, I remember it said. Salt. There we are. Right. I'm going to put a bit of this in now because otherwise mix is going to get a bit dry. Right, okay. Right, there we go. Oh, funny. Oh. Anyway, you can see it looks a mess in the pan there. I can tell you it smells good. I think I'm going to put all this in. I'm going to cook that for just a little bit more. Whoa. So, when I go around talking to people about cooking, and especially men, it seems like most men like to cook two types of things. One, there's obviously your barbecue, yeah. You don't ever go to a barbecue and see a lady standing there, do you? You know, she's done absolutely everything else. She's gone and bought it, probably paid for it, done all the prep, all the salad, and the guy takes all the credit because he stood there and flipped a couple of sausages, a bit of steak, burgers, that sort of thing, you know. But blokes do like to do that. I don't know whether it's like the cooking over the type of flames things, like a Neanderthal thing. I don't know. And of course the other thing is, I find that they cook it curries. Cook a lot of curries. And when I say to them, oh, do you use tins or jars of curry stuff and whatever? No. It's all of this type of stuff, like I'm doing now. We seem to get some sort of kick out of it, you know. I mean, I've done this a couple of times in the past, but I've always gone a bit over the top with, you know, a bit more chilli. It'll be okay. No, it really is. Right, put the rest of this in now. Because you saw how much veg was in there, you know. So we'll put the rest of this in. And we've got more liquid in the way of the coconutty stuff. See if we can get some. Actually, that's nice. Could switch a bit of vodka around in that, can we? No. That's actually quite garlicky. Something nice, actually. Make sure I get that again. Right, there's that. Okay. What's those grubby little mitts? Really? Do you like my island, by the way? This is nice. Otherwise, I'd only have that little bit of kitchen mixer. And not really enough to do this, but this is good. Anyway, right, so come on then, let's get this knocked up a bit faster. Make sure I'm going by my notes here that I've scribbled. Make sure I've got everything in there. Yeah, that looks good. That's good, we've done that bit. Maybe a bit more garum at the end, and we're going to put fenugreek in. But we're going to put that in when we add it all to there. Right, let's knock that back down to there, to 120. And in with this. You can tell this is the expensive one because it's got the ring on the top, look. None of this winding round the old-fashioned ways. Right. starting to pressure up now. I suppose really what I ought to do, after I've got all this in there, is what it doesn't taste like, isn't it? Yeah. This is some nice creamy milk. This is better than the one I bought the last time, which was like it was the Alster's own one, to be honest, and just by giving it a good shake prior to like chucking it in there, it was horrible. This has come out like it's proper creamy, but it isn't the cream, it's the milk. Right, let's just give that a good go. Yeah, get this hot and mingling, then I'm gonna have to taste it, aren't I? You know, like Gordon says, taste, taste, taste. Come on up. No, keep that one for the tasting. Never leave the lids up like this. You can murder yourself. Can you murder yourself? That's suicide, isn't it? Anyway, cut yourself in half till you bleed to death. That's what I mean. Inspiration. Never have too much inspiration when you're cooking, it's dangerous. This is only my 8th. I'm joking, my 2nd. Oh, right. Actually, I don't know what you can see in the pan, I'll do that. Look at that. Yeah. I don't know whether I've got to thicken it, I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know. There. Yeah. Some of you might notice when you watch this video, they've got some teeth missing. And that's because I've been eating all my life. Come on, boil it. Knock that up to 800. 800 RPM. There we go. Starting to get a couple of bubbles now. Come on, come on, come on. They all want to know what it tastes like. I think you do. You might have switched off by now. You've gone, what's that slop he's knocking up? Yeah, you go, you can't have any. But you can't see them. Yeah. I think they might want to see you. Come here. You go. What is this doing? Come here. Come here, I want to pick you up. Watch your hands up. Oh, 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 oh. Yes. This is my little boy, Hugo. He's lovely. Thank you. 7.5 years. Yeah. And he's on a diet. Oh, he's heavy. Good. There you are, put you on there. Oh. There we are. Oh, right. Oh, yes, right. Oh. You're a good boy, aren't you? Hey, you're a good boy. You really are a good boy. Yes. Right, that is bubbling. I'm going to knock it on the head now. Give it a stir. We don't want to be burning anything in the bottom of the pan. Right. Okay. Right. needs a bit more of the curry part. So I'm going to put a bit of a bit more of garam masala in there. It's got a bit of heat, but it's also quite tomatoey. So I mean that's definitely the thing. Oh, actually, my recipe does call for putting more garam masala in at the end, doesn't it? So I may not have messed up. Yes, right, okay. Got the clean spoon, yes. Now we're going to go with a fair old chunk, there we go. Right, in for a penny, in for a pound. Give that a stir. And this fennel geek, they call it, is to give it the earthy flavour. Is that good? Well, actually, that smells very curry-like. So, yeah, well, let's do what it says here then. Yeah. Right. Oh, well, that's all the ingredients that I'm allowed to put in according to the recipe. Mind you, it is called bunged it in, so I could bung more in, couldn't I? Yeah. Okay. Get me running out of spoons. I'm going to wash some spoons in a minute. Gonna have nothing to taste with. No, it isn't a straw. Yeah. That's the badger. Yeah, that's much better. That's nice now. Yeah, so it needed a bit extra garam masala. And this fenugreek chap. Right, so that has now finished and has gone on to keep warm, so we'll cancel that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let that pressure down and then drain it all, so we're just back to sort of a dry but cooked veg. Then I'm going to add all of this in there, put it in a little bowl and see what goes. For me that could be 25 minutes, for you a few seconds. Bye for now. Hello, I'm back. What I have done is I have got the veg out of there, and then I tasted what was in the pot left from cooking all of that veg, and I've decided, and rather than just waste it and tip it down the sink or whatever, you know, I thought I'd keep it as a stock for a day or so, and then just see. You know, you never know. Oh, there he just fits, doesn't it? Right, okay. Right, so we set that to one side. That's a good vegetable stock, I think. I think that's what it is. So we're going to put that over there. Right, and then we're going to tip our veg back in there. Now, unfortunately, I can't save any of this video because even without that mix there, it's got onion in it, and onion is not good for dogs, not at all. Make sure you don't give your dogs onions. Is it garlic, leeks, spring onions, raisins, grapes, any of that sort of thing. They're called alums and they're toxic to dogs. So, right, okay. But we don't want to give this too much of a stir because the veg is now soft, isn't it? And we don't want to mush. So, right, I think what I might do is just give this a little bit of a heat up. Right there. Just a little bit of a heat up. Yeah, I think the herbs and the spices and everything might have had a time to infuse a bit more now. Yeah, certainly tastes like a curry now, and there's a slight burn. That's nice, that's brilliant. What I'm going to do with this is going to have it in one of these nice bowls with a little bit of natural yogurt poured on the top, you know, like you'd get in a restaurant, you know, a little swirl, you know, looking professional. And I've got to find some green leaves from somewhere. I'm sure you don't really want to see that, but I'm going to have a little bit in the bowl with this and just let you know what it really tastes like. Put that in there for now. Oh, really? There we go, here we go. See, the recipe, you should really cook the veg in the sauce itself, but I want to make sure the veg is cooked. I don't like anything crunchy. Plus of that, I don't want to burn any of the sauce on the bottom or anything, you know. So I thought this was the way to do it, where you're not going to have so many co-ops. Okay. Careful, there's glass on it. Right, so give that a gentle stir now. Gentle stir. Oh, there we are. I think there's more than one bowl in here. Every time I do this stuff, I always make far too much, and there's only me to eat it. Never mind. I'm sure you'll all appreciate how good it's going to taste. Let's have a look. Oh God, I need some new ones of these. That's safe, isn't it? Look at that. Right, okay. There we are. Pop that. There. Give it a little tilt. Can you see? Yeah? Pop it back. I'll put a lid on that after. Right. Let's put a bit in here. And just a bit. Get in there like that. There we are. And of course this is entirely vegetarian, so got a much wider audience already, haven't I? Right. And we're going to get out a little bit of the super healthy, fat-free Greek style yogurt. And yes, we're going to put a bit on top of that. This is okay. I did check it earlier, it's alright. I put that a bit on there. Now I haven't got any sprigs of green stuff. So you just got to imagine that there's a bit of greenery. Look at the side of that. Come on, Jude, present it tidily. I'm eating it. That's it. In there like that. Now if I can eat this without sweating or coughing, job's a good one. But it's got to taste a bit curry-like too. A bit of that with it. Yeah. Actually, that is really, really nice. Well, there we are. I mean, it was quite cheap for me. I already got the herbs and spices here mainly. The only thing I had to buy was the fenugreek. I bought the veg with the yellow labels on, like I said. So really this is turned out to be really cheap. And it's very tasty. And that was a 6 litre thing, and there's about 5 litres in there. So yeah. It's gonna do my belly good for the next couple of days, isn't it? Anyway, right. So there we are then. I'll leave it at that for now. I hope this video's been okay. It's actually the first one that I've done properly all the way through for YouTube ever. I did have a couple of little trial runs going back a couple of years ago. So yeah, I'm hoping it's okay. If you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, because I'll be doing one. I'll try and do one every week. Whether they'll all be on the budget theme, I don't know. I've got a few recipes in mind. So yes, thank you very much for watching. See you again. Bye bye.